Imagine signing your next high-paying client without leaving your neighborhood. No ads, no outreach, no awkward DMs. If you're constantly grinding to generate leads online and burning cash on funnels and posting content that never seems to get any traction, you're not alone. But what if the best opportunities aren't online at all? After more than a decade helping business owners build scalable systems, I discovered a new approach to client acquisition that flipped everything for me. It's not about chasing strangers. It's about recognizing the value of proximity and leveraging that. That's why in this video, I'll show you the exact 3-part system that I use to turn simple conversations into recurring clients in under 15 minutes. You'll discover where your best clients are actually hiding, how to spot when they're ready to buy, and the simple tech system that turns chaos into retainers. If you're tired of the noise and want a smarter, simpler way to grow, this just might change how you think about client acquisition forever. So let's dive right in. Last Tuesday, I was at one of my favorite local coffee shops, had my laptop open, was working on a campaign when Mike, who's the owner, walked over and says, "Hey, you're the marketing guy, right?" Now, I've had this kind of conversation hundreds of times, so this is typically where he asks something like, "Can I pick your brain?" or run a couple things by you, but that's not what happens here. Instead, he says, "I'm paying almost $2,000 a month for 6 different tools, scheduling, reviews, emails, invoicing. There's gotta be a better way, right?" Now here's the thing. Mike wasn't a lead. He wasn't in my funnel. I hadn't run ads targeting coffee shop owners. He was just there, and so was I. And here's what's crazy. The entire conversation took 15 minutes. I didn't need to pitch him anything. I didn't need to overcome objections. I didn't need to follow up 3 times. He had a problem, I had a solution, and 15 minutes later, he signed up. Then he referred his gym owner buddy the next day, then his accountant a few days after that. 3 clients, 1 week, no advertising spend. Most business owners are spending thousands of dollars chasing complete strangers online when their best opportunities are usually sitting 3 feet away. This is what I call the warm water client system, but here's the core idea. Most business owners are fishing in cold water, targeting complete strangers who don't know them, don't trust them, and aren't ready to buy. That, my friend, is a very expensive approach, and it requires constant advertising and massive volume and convincing someone to take a risk on you. Warm water is different. Warm water is where people already know who you are. There's existing trust, there's proximity. Mike knew that I did marketing. That's it. That's warm enough. The warm water system has 3 core principles. Principle 1, location. Fish where the fish actually are. Principle number 2, readiness. Recognize the signs that someone is already looking for help. And principle number 3, systems. Provide a simple, consolidated solution that replaces chaos. Now, most of the marketing advice and marketing gurus out there are going to teach you to scale volume. I want you to run more ads and send more messages, but the truth is there's a different kind of leverage. Proximity leverage. Proximity leverage is about showing up in the same environment as your ideal clients and being present when they're ready to solve the problem that you solve. It's not about convincing. It's just about being there when that moment happens. Now, before I break down the 3 principles in detail, I want to address something really important here. When I say this system works in 15 minutes, I'm talking about the conversation itself, not the setup. Most client acquisition systems focus on the pitch, the close, the negotiation. They're essentially built around convincing. But when you master proximity, readiness, and systems, the actual conversation becomes almost effortless. The reason it only takes 15 minutes is because there's nothing to convince. And I've had these 15-minute conversations pretty much everywhere. At the gym, where casual conversation between sets leads to a client. At my kid's soccer game, where a sideline chat with another parent who owns a dental practice. Getting an oil change, sitting in the waiting room, having a conversation with a shop owner. At a Chamber of Commerce meeting, having a hallway conversation during a coffee break. The conversation is pretty much always brief, but the positioning, well, that happens before the conversation ever starts. In other words, the work is in the positioning, the payoff is in the speed. That's the difference between grinding for clients and attracting them. All right, let's break down how to create these 15-minute moments consistently, starting with principle number 1, location. Let me tell you a quick story. Last summer, I took my daughter fishing. Had a beautiful spot, there was comfortable shade, spent 2 hours fishing there and caught 0 fish. Anyway, towards the end of our 2-hour session, she looks up at me and says, "Dad, shouldn't we go where the fish actually are?" And she ended up pointing towards the dock where fish were literally jumping out of the water. The problem here is that I'd optimized for comfort, not for results. And this is exactly what most business owners do with client acquisition. They optimize for what feels comfortable. Things like posting on social media from their couch, or running Facebook ads, or sending LinkedIn messages to strangers, but they're not going where the fish are. So the question then is, well, where are the fish? Well, honestly, they're everywhere. The environments where your ideal clients already exist. I'm talking about the gym you go to, the coffee shop you work from, the networking event in your city, the industry conference in your niche. These are just some examples where business owners congregate and where trust can be built through repeated exposure. But here's what I did with Mike. I didn't pitch him. I didn't target him with ads. I just showed up. Same coffee shop, same order pretty much every time. And well, that's That's pretty much it. He saw me working, he made an assumption that this guy does marketing, and that is location leverage. Now, you might be thinking, Adam, I don't have the time or the caffeine tolerance to start chugging 20 cups of coffee at every coffee shop in town. Well, good news there. You don't need years, and you can skip the coffee binging altogether if you want. All you really need here is 2 weeks of intentional presence. The coffee shop owner, the gym owner, the person who does your taxes, the contractor who fixed your deck, these people run businesses. They've got problems, they need solutions, and you're in proximity to them, which means you become the obvious choice when they're ready. Okay, let's keep going with principle number 2, readiness. Most people think that their job is to create demand, but that's wrong. Your job is to recognize demand that already exists. Mike didn't need to be convinced. After all, in his own words, he said, I'm paying almost $2,000 a month for 6 different tools. That is a pain point. That is readiness. Most business owners are constantly walking around with some kind of problem that they're actively trying to solve, and they're actively talking about it. The question is, are you listening? Well, here are 3 readiness signals to watch for. Signal number 1, complaints about cost. Things like, I'm spending way too much on software. Signal number 2, complaints about complexity. Things like, I'm using half a dozen platforms that don't integrate. Signal number 3, complaints about time. I'm wasting 10 hours a week managing my tech stack. When someone says these things, they're broadcasting a buying signal. But let me give you another example. I remember sitting down at my kitchen table a few years ago on a Sunday night around 10, 11 p.m. and my wife and I were going over our finances. Adam, what's this $297 charge and this $147 charge and this one and that one? So I opened a spreadsheet and saw ClickFunnels, $297, ActiveCampaign, $147, Zapier, $69, Calendly, $15, and 12 others for a grand total of $2,847 per month. That's a mortgage payment. I'm a marketing strategist, and there I was bleeding nearly $3,000 a month on software that I could have easily consolidated. So I consolidated everything into one platform. One login, $297 a month, saved me over $2,500 instantly. Then I realized, if I have this problem, my clients definitely have this problem. So I started offering that same platform, white labeled as my own software. Now I was able to charge $497 a month per client. They replace 6 to 10 scattered tools. I earn $200 to $400 in profit per client per month. That is readiness. You're not creating demand, you're capturing demand that already exists. Okay, principle number 3, systems. This is the leverage multiplier and where most service providers fall apart. Let me paint you a picture of what consultants are doing right now. They're living in feast or famine. 1 month, they land 3 clients, the next month, nothing. They're using 8 to 12 different platforms that don't talk to each other. Zapier holds everything together with digital duct tape, but when something breaks, they spend hours troubleshooting. They're manually onboarding every new client. Custom proposals, custom setups, takes them a week just to get someone live. And worst of all, they're selling their time, not selling transformation. They bill by the hour, and when they stop working, the money stops coming. That is the chaos trap, and here's the brutal truth. You cannot scale chaos. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine having just one platform. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife instead of a toolbox full of scattered gadgets. One tool that handles scheduling and CRM and email marketing, SMS and invoicing and automations, and everything connects with just one simple login. Imagine onboarding a new client in 30 minutes instead of 30 hours. Imagine charging them $297 to $497 a month for recurring access, and you keep 100% of the revenue because it's white labeled under your brand. Imagine these clients staying for not weeks, not months, but years because they've replaced 6 chaotic tools with one simple solution. Well, that's what systems leverage looks like. Just last week, I ran into another marketer at a local Starbucks, and he looked pretty much exhausted, and he asked me, how are you signing so many clients lately? Look, I used to be him, but here's the difference. While he's making cold calls, I'm having casual conversations with people who already know me. While he's juggling 15 different software subscriptions, I've got everything running through one platform, branded as my own. While he's grinding 60-hour weeks, I'm focused on growth, not chaos. The difference isn't effort here, it's just systems. Mike, the coffee shop owner, signs up for $297 a month. I keep 100% because I'm white labeling the platform. He refers his gym owner friend, another $297. Then another referral to an accountant, another $297. 3 clients, 1 week, 0 ad spend, and $891 in monthly recurring revenue. And here's where it gets exciting. Let's scale that. 10 clients gives you $2,970 per month. 20 clients, $5,940 a month, and 50 clients, $14,850 per month. And these aren't one-time projects. This is recurring revenue. They stay because the system works. They refer others because the transformation is obvious. You're not just selling a service here. You're providing infrastructure that becomes essential to how they run their business. You can't scale chaos, but you can absolutely scale simplicity. And if you want to learn how to take all of this and put it into an actionable plan, then this is exactly what's being taught in depth at the upcoming HighLevel SaaSpreneur workshop. This is not a pitch fest. It's a live online training where HighLevel and Frank Kern walk you through how to implement this exact system from setup to your first paying client. You'll get the email templates, the conversation frameworks, the positioning strategies, the technical setup. And here's what makes this different. When you land clients using this system, you keep 100% of the revenue. You white label the platform, charge your clients $297 to $497 a month, and the profit is yours. And some people who attended last year now are making over $10,000 a month in recurring revenue. And here's what makes this different. When you land clients using this system, you keep 100% of the revenue. You white label the platform, charge your clients $297 to $497 a month, and the profit is yours. And some people who attended last year are now making over $10,000 a month in recurring revenue. Now, you might be thinking, do I need to be a tech expert? Well, no. If you can set up an email account, you can do this. What about, do I need a big audience? Also no. You need proximity to 10 to 20 local business owners. Or what about, do I need to be a great salesperson? Well, luckily, not even close. You need to recognize readiness and then offer a simple solution. If you want to reserve your spot, the link is in the description below this video. It's free, and they'll even give you a free 14-day trial to HighLevel, so you can try it out for yourself. But here's what I want you to understand. This workshop happens once. It's live, and you don't want to miss it. Because here's the truth. Timing matters more than talent. The people who show up, learn the system, and implement immediately, well, they're the ones who are going to win. So if you're tired of chasing strangers online, if you want a system that actually works, grab your spot, links in the descriptions below, and I'm excited to see you there soon.